Hey,
Hey,
whoa, hey,
man.
yo,
What's
whoa.
up, everybody? It's another episode 56 to be exact, I believe, of the Six Man Tag Podcast. Hey, everybody. How's it
How,
going?
how y'all doing?
Hmm. What's up, everybody? Uh, let's get these intros out of the way because I tend to forget for 10 minutes as we ramble on. I'm Mike, and joining me as
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Skyler. And for the past 56 episodes, I have been the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed podcast of the wrestling world, the Six Man Tag.
let's fucking go.
That's LFG, man. LFG.
It's just two of us this week, if you can tell. If you're
Yep.
watching us on YouTube, Six Man Tag Podcast on YouTube, go subscribe now.
Good
Um,
like.
no CJ this week. We were gonna have Anthony on because his favorite wrestler is AJ Styles, but yep, nailed it.
Okay. Nailed it.
Anyway, as I said, AJ Styles, that's who we're talking about this week. We've had
The
some
phenomenal one.
we've had some feedback and some requests for some wrestler deep dives. So here you go. We're going to go ahead and do one for you because I think everybody knows AJ Styles. I think it's a very AJ Styles. I know. I mean, we'll kind of get into it and go in order, but I guess just a few kind of general things for me about him. I feel like he's sort of been this. I don't know if poster boy is the right word I'm looking for, but the post like WCW, there isn't really any wrestling competition for a long time. I think if there's one guy that's truly stood out in that post WCW kind of random companies popping up kind of thing, I kind of got to say AJ Styles might be like the cream of the crop, if you will.
If he's
Of
not number one with a bullet, he's at least number two or three.
mhm. Because you got to figure.
Yeah, I said bullet,
Yep. No,
but we'll
I
get to that.
yep. Oh, we will. Um, but I just think I feel like he came around. I think he kind of broke out at the perfect time. I think if he starts his career maybe a few years earlier, I don't think his career gets to the heights that it has.
Nope.
And I think if he comes in a few years later,
He
I
misses the
don't
train.
exactly. I don't
Gets lost in the
know
shuffle.
exactly. I think right. That's a perfect way to put it. I feel like he starts at the right time. He kind of slow plays it, and then kind of you see where he's at. Still going strong now.
Oh yeah.
Also, what always amazes me about especially wrestling back in the day, you look AJ Styles is 45 years old, and if you look at and he's still going strong. I mean,
Yes.
he's he we got the next pay-per-view coming up. He's in the title match for the new world heavyweight title coming up.
Which he
But
probably won't win, unfortunately. But
hey,
whatever.
hey, he's in the match. You never know.
Yeah.
But
I
at
mean,
45,
against Seth Rollins, that'll still be a banger of a match.
oh, absolutely. But you figure he's in a world title match at 45 years old. No one bats an eye. And I love if you go back and watch a lot of the old stuff, whether it's like Ric Flair in 93, 94, or like I think Jerry Lawler, Roddy Piper at one point, where if you got to like the late 90s, these guys were younger than AJ Styles is now, and they were considered too old at the time.
Yep.
So you look at how the trend has really changed. Like Ric Flair wasn't going to be the top guy in the WWF in the 90s going into that Monday Night Raw era because they wanted to go younger.
And that's why I went to WCW.
Exactly. But it's funny how AJ Styles is 45 and no one bats an eye, but you know,
Because he does
someone
not come off or wrestle like
no,
he is 45.
no, not at all.
If
I
you
mean,
told me he was 30, I'd be like, oh, all right.
yeah, exactly. But like it's always funny to me how like the age thing doesn't matter as much now as maybe it did 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
Well,
It's always been a funny thing to me. And
I-
there's a number of wrestlers
the
on the
wrestlers
roster.
are taking better care of themselves.
Mm,
They're not
mm,
doing crazy shit outside the ring.
this is true. Instead of
Maybe
alcohol,
inside the ring. It
right?
really depends on who you
Instead
ask.
of right, instead of drugs and alcohol and party over all night and wrestle hungover, everyone just plays video games.
Yeah, and you know what? They seem to be having a good time, and
Mm.
they reinstated that they can do Twitch. So God bless them.
Yeah, right. Hey, do your thing. But
Exactly.
anyway, we're talking about stuff now. We got to go back in time. And I say WCW because that was the first taste of exposure that AJ Styles had. If you bring it back to 2001, the very end of WCW, you could see him on some WCW programming. As you mentioned before we started recording, a match against Christopher Daniels, which he's had plenty against, which we'll get to.
Oh yeah.
And I believe you said Scott Steiner just decided to show up and do his thing, which
as far as I remember, dude, I keep on trying to scroll for my iPad and I'm touching my touchpad for my computer. Yeah, as far as I remember, I'm trying to see if I can like confirm it real quick because he started wrestling in 1998.
Mm-hmm.
Wrap your head around that one. I
mean, yeah,
believe
1998.
it was,
That was like 10 years ago, right?
yeah, exactly. It was
All right.
it was just 10 years ago.
Yep.
It was, I believe, first off, he was Air Styles in a tag team there.
Man.
Wow, I forgot about that.
Mm.
And I believe the match with Daniels was actually supposed to be like a winner gets a WCW contract, and then Scott Steiner, who I pretty sure was champion at the time,
Nope.
just came in and fucked shit up because he's Scott Steiner. He just does that.
You know, you get nothing. You get
nothing,
nothing.
and you like it. You lose.
You okay,
good day.
Thank you.
Guy said good day. So going back to 2001, we had the match for the contract, and we had Air Styles and Air Paris, I believe was the other one.
Yep.
And I guess they were dressing in G suits at the time. I feel like I purposely scrubbed this out of my brain.
You probably did. Listen, 2001 WCW is not great, is really all that has to be said.
Which is surprising because that's the most of it that I saw live.
Right. You were probably like, oh man, this is cool. And it's gone.
Yeah. Well, so I think I've stated plenty of times before, my favorite year in the WWF at the time is 2000.
It's a good year.
And that kind of I would say that's the year that kind of reinvigorated and basically solidified me as a lifelong wrestling fan. I mean, shit, right. I'm doing a podcast now.
Yeah, a lot of Triple
H,
as we speak, a lot of Kurt
right
Angle.
Here. But around that time, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna also check out when I get a chance more WCW, and it's not like I haven't watched WCW before.
Yeah.
I can't remember which year it was, but I remember ordering Bash at the Beach in the mid '90s.
Okay, so not the Vince Russo one or the Hulk Hogan.
Which one was
Jeff
on
Jarrett.
a beach?
Oh God,
that one.
I don't know. I mean the set was always like the beach with the sand and stuff, I think.
Well, they did that, but I feel like I'm pretty sure one year was on a beach, and I'm pretty sure it's the one that I ordered. And I also remember, and let's not forget about Hog Wild. It's good old Sturgis.
I was gonna say nothing. All right, where are we going for this event? South Dakota.
I listened to that episode of 83 Weeks, and there was some planning going into that one.
Mm-hmm.
Also, him complimenting Medusa's ass. Anyway,
fair.
Hey, you know what? At the time, even today, she still don't look that bad. Even today, she still don't look that bad.
You beat me to it.
Yeah. Still, she aged pretty good. Unlike Sunny from that time.
Well, I mean, there's been a few other issues, but I digress.
Just a few that have been done multiple times. AJ Styles. So he had his stint in WCW. WCW bought out, wasn't offered I think. So I'm pretty sure he got a tryout with WWE. There's a match with him against someone out there, probably like Metal or something, or Velocity.
I think if you search for it, it might be on Peacock.
Probably.
I think I definitely it might have
Not
still
even
been the
just on
WWE.
YouTube.
Right, it might have still been on like when it was WWE Network, but I assume it's on Peacock. But you just gotta search for it. They had a bunch of like they just put up a bunch of like the raw footage from like the dark matches when they'd film. So they have like there's some Brock Lesnar one up there from prior to his debut, AJ Styles. I'm sure there's others of like notable guys that, oh,
Oh, okay.
here's a dark match.
So basically his first one was before a Raw taping. He had a match against his trainer, Rick Michaels, and he won with the Shooting Star Press, was
Mhm.
not offered a contract.
Right.
He made two more appearances in 2002. One was an episode of Metal. Hey, I said it.
Mhm.
Losing to the Hurricane. Somewhere Dennis just perked up.
Like, oh, I have to look this up, huh?
Huh. And then a dark match where he beat Rico Constantino. Remember
Oh
him?
shit, I do.
I remember him
I'm
supposed
sorry.
to be
I'm sorry.
like
Did you say AJ Styles versus the Hurricane was on Metal? It was actually on Jacked. That's spelled JAKKED.
KKET? Well,
Oh,
somebody needs to correct this Wikipedia article.
mm.
It says metal, but if you
Cage
told me,
match. By the way,
but
cagematch.net is very good for just
yeah,
it's a very good wrestling site in general. It literally lists every match.
I
Like
actually have
AJ's
that. I have that on a tab somewhere
okay.
here.
Because yeah, the AJ Styles page, yeah, he according to this, I mean, as far as listed, it's probably more, but I have 2,225 matches listed under AJ Styles.
That's about right. Um. So yeah, then he kind of did the indie thing for a while. He was in HWA for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
Harlan Wrestling Association. Before where else did he show up? He did All Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
He did
He was basically
Excitement
all over the
Wrestling
place.
Federation,
Mm-hmm.
competing in a battle royal against Billy Fives. Don't know. Christopher Daniels, Juventud Carrera, Kid
Mm-hmm.
Cash,
Mm-hmm.
Prince Iuka, or Iukia.
Mm-hmm.
I always had a problem with that pronunciation. Psychosis and Quick Kit. So those are some names.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, he pretty much like he bounces around, and this is after WCW
Oh,
closes.
he did World Wrestling All Stars. I forgot about that.
I was just gonna get to that, and yeah. Now I mean, did they have? I know it was like supposed to be a thing, and then it kind of failed, like at the end after like a short time. But I got it confused with which I don't know why in my head I got it confused, but I was thinking that it was like Legends of Wrestling pay per view bad or whatever show I'm thinking of with Jake.
Not that bad.
I was gonna say it's not Jake the Snake Roberts.
That pay-per-view is so bad that I recommended it as a watch along and we said no because we felt bad.
I would recommend people go watch it because it is that bad. Like it's so bad that
It's legendary bad.
yes, exactly. Honestly, it's so bad that I think it's so bad, and that's the only reason it's brought up all these years later. So if you need to go find it,
Yeah,
watch a highlight show or something.
if you want to see Jake the Snake
Not
just
sober.
ripped out of his mind to the point where they had to turn the main event into an impromptu tag team. And I think Yokozuna was in that match.
Sorry, Heroes of Wrestling.
Heroes of Wrestling, that's the one. I think Legends of Wrestling the game.
Yes, that's
Remember that
that
game? And do you have it?
I I don't have it. Although
Well,
wait,
you got a new mission.
no, I do. No, I
Okay.
do.
Okay.
I
I was
because
about to say.
I just bought it like it was like $7 and I was like, all right, deal.
I was gonna say otherwise you should give Taylor a call at
No, that
Get
is
Good
where
Gaming in
that
New City,
is
New York.
listen, that is where I bought it. And I'm in there often enough because I work a block from it. So my paycheck hates me for that.
Yes.
But
I'd probably
great
do the
store.
same for me.
Great store. I walk by it every day. So how could I not go in every so often?
Yes. Get Good Gaming, New City, New York. Check them out.
Great store. They have everything too, not just video games. They do trading cards. They do like Magic the Gathering. They got, obviously video games and sports memorabilia. They got everything in there. Go
I
check it
just
out.
realized now, my kid's now into Pokemon cards.
That could get expensive.
So now I gotta.
I said could, doesn't have to.
Who said it hasn't? Anywho,
It starts expensive. Sorry.
and we've already established that my address is concealed because of that book I have. Anyway,
Fair.
so AJ Styles, yeah, so at the WWA show, he wrestled against Christopher Daniels, Low Key, Shark Boy, Supernova, and Tony Mamaluke.
Shark Boy.
Shark Boy, that's right.
This was just a 6-way cruiserweight survivor. Like at this point, I think
it's meant to be a spot fest.
Exactly. Like they're coming off of. It's almost like the evolution of the cruiserweight, how the cruiserweight started in first ECW and then WCW follows. It didn't really. I don't think it really changed for the better. I feel like you started the cruiserweight division with like Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio all the time, and then it was just like, all right, well, let's just find any dudes that are tiny.
Dean Malenko.
Right,
and Chris Jericho
and Chavo
and Chris Jericho.
No, that's true. But I feel like going from that to, and it's no offense to like a lot of these other guys. Clearly, more guys have to come along, but a lot of it just doesn't compare. And it's not to say any of the dudes in this match are bad. It's just seeing these random dudes just thrown together, and they were like, "Well, all right, go do something."
I think it was because around this point, people, wrestlers that were coming up in the business probably had easier access to AAA, CMLL, New Japan,
Absolutely.
All Japan. So they were finally starting to get exposed to some shit that we were not quite seeing over here.
No, absolutely.
Like in little bits and pieces, in parts of the cruiserweight division with WCW, you saw some of it in ECW, but like it was around this time where those styles really started to, especially in the West, started to become more prominent.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And listen, it's evolved in a good way. We see what wrestling is now. But so AJ, he does that. The WWA stuff doesn't really last a long time. By the spring of 2002, it's pretty much dead.
Yep.
And then Ring of Honor kicks off. He's kind of wrestling there, but then June 19th, 2002, it's the first ever NWA Total Nonstop Action event from the Von Braun Civic Center, Huntsville, Alabama.
How much did it cost?
How much did the pay-per-view cost? I feel like they were $10 a week.
I want to say they were less, but you might be right. No, I think you are right, but like once in a while they had like a 99-cent one.
Oh man, I mean it makes sense. You need like it's a why, and I know you can go listen to because I don't want to get into like a full breakdown of how this concept started, but if you're interested in, hey, how does this wrestling company start and how do they do a week-to-week pay-per-view? If you listen to the Jeff Jarrett podcast, My World, I think he literally takes like 2 or 3 entire podcasts to like talk about TNA and how it started and this and that. But it's what a wild concept. And I guess in theory, if you want to if you're spending $10 a week, that does come out to like $40 a month. So in theory, if you want to say well, people would pay $40 a month for WWE pay-per-views, it's essentially the same price now, but that's a tough ask for people to do. Even though the money's the same for this unknown thing with like a few guys you might have heard of. It's a wild ask to say, all right, we're going to do this weekly pay-per-view thing.
Honestly, so that kind of makes me start to understand why Ken Shamrock may have been their first champion.
Oh yeah, coming off the heels of that, it makes perfect sense. And
they name,
yeah, exactly. And they had like decent names to start, like obviously Jeff Jarrett, Scott Hall, Ken Shamrock. I know if you go watch like the first pay-per-view, they just wheel down every old NWA person they could think of for that first pay-per-view.
Yep.
Like Ricky Steamboat's involved in something.
Ricky Steamboat's like a commissioner or something like that. And
or something. But
Ron the Truth Killings brings up something about
yes,
us people
yes,
in reference to them not getting
exactly.
title shots, and that's how we get Ron the Truth Killings NWA TNA champion.
That did in fact happen.
Yes, it
So
did
he
twice.
wrestles on the first show, which is wild because on pay-per-view number one, it's on one side, it's AJ Styles, Jerry Lynn, and Low Key against the Flying Elvises. Can you name them? Oh, you're probably looking at it, so this kind of defeats the
No,
purpose.
no, hold on. I am actually not.
Like,
I'm still looking at the Ring of Honor stuff.
I'm more so looking at two of the names
Jimmy
because
Wang
it's
Yang.
correct.
Give me a hint.
I don't know if I can without saying it because I honestly, this one dude you've probably heard of, but I don't know.
Not Jimmy Ray. No.
No, no, you're not going to get it because there's no like other character or other like thing.
Wait.
He was in
Hold on.
WCW a little bit. This is
Sonny
terrible.
Siaki?
Yep. How the fuck? I mean, I trust you didn't look at it because you did take a minute.
For some reason, him and Sonny Ono were like,
I was going to say he was a thing in WCW a bit, Sonny Siaki, if I remember correctly, because he started in '99. And Jorge Estrada, who I've honestly never heard of.
That's who the third one was. I knew it was Estrada.
Yeah, well, the only other Armando Estrada. It's the only other Estrada. No.
There could be plenty.
No.
You know what? Never mind. Before I say something stupid.
Yeah. All fair. So he
yeah.
does that. So listen, so he's in TNA, but then the next week, well, technically they taped it the same night, but the next week he wins the X Division title.
The inaugural champion.
Yeah, which it makes perfect sense. He, at this point, he's clearly enough of a name at this point in 2002, clearly nowhere near what he becomes, but it's enough here to,
he's becoming known.
Yes, exactly.
And I part of it's that, and part of it, God, I need to stop reaching for the wrong mouse pad. I think part of it is also because he's also doing Ring of Honor at the same time too.
Right.
So he's kind of exposing himself.
Because I think at this point, I do think a lot of, I wonder, again, I don't know contracts, but I imagine maybe either the guarantee's not there or like the money's not there. So it's like, sure, go do indies while you're here.
I'm sure they were trying to set some precedent that WWE didn't allow. That's like, yeah, you can go show up at other places.
like we'll pay you. You could be on, well, in this case, pay-per-view, not TV.
And this was also pre-Panda Energy money.
This is this is literally Jeff Jarrett money, and maybe
Jeff Jarrett
whatever
and Jerry Jarrett money.
Right, exactly.
Which I'm not going to say is nothing.
No, it's not nothing, but it's
not.
It's a lot. It's not a lot, and you need a lot.
Which eventually they would get, but we'll get to that.
Right. So look, I mean, like I said, I don't want to spend it. I don't want to go week to week. He's the X Division champion. He also wins the tag titles along the way.
Yep.
So him and Jerry Lynn.
Oh, Jerry Lynn, that's who it was. It wasn't Christopher Daniels.
Him and Jerry Lynn are the tag champs. So AJ Styles, TNA's 3 weeks old, and AJ Styles is a double champ already.
Yep.
So look, the weeks go on. They, win the title, lose the title. I don't want to sit here and go through every single week. I feel like this kind of, goes on and on. He wins. See, this is where they didn't used to make winning the world title super special, if that makes sense. Because I feel like
there was an issue. Part of the issue around this time was also that Jeff Jarrett was going all Triple H Reign of Terror era.
He was, although it was more so. We'll get to it.
If he lost the title, he had it back within a month.
Right. Yeah, he was a champ for a while for that. Like
both like five times in like a year or two.
It was both the pay-per-view era and then when they actually did get on TV, which I'll get to shortly. I'm just trying to find. All right, there we go. He defeats that. So he's had plenty of title shots. Draw. This is a terrific podcasting. So he feuded with Raven a little bit. Those are probably good matches if you want to go back and watch.
Yeah, I remember watching one of the matches with
Yeah.
Raven because I used to be a Raven mark.
Right. And I spent a lot of time, like after I started watching TNA, I spent a lot of time like researching and just trying to find old stuff from, back, from, prior, whether from 2002, 2003, whatever I could find. Cause they did a lot of weird shit
Yes,
in
they
there.
did. But
All right,
as far as AJ Styles himself, like his wrestling style back then was nothing like it is now.
No, because
And the way it is now is perfectly fine. He adapted to WWE style, but he was
because you can't the shit he did in 2000,
the spiral tap.
Exactly. The shit he did 20 years ago, you can't do that every night today.
No. He's just doing the spiral tap. He's sending matches 450. I mean, he still does breaks out the 450, but
all right, here we go. NWA TNA pay-per-view number 49, June 11th, 2003. Just about 1 year in, AJ Styles defeats Jeff Jarrett and Raven, wins the NWA World title in a triple threat match.
Yep.
So there you go. AJ Styles a world champion in 2003, which is wild because literally 20 years later, he could be a world champ again.
Yep. And that marks him as the first NWA TNA Triple Crown champ.
Yes. And all it took was a year.
Yep.
We carry on. Where we go. Ooh, some of the interest. Oh, see, it's funny because the NWA title would get defended periodically outside of TNA, which is always crazy. Like there was a title defense at a CZW show. Where are we at? NWA Bluegrass event, which I mean, can you guess what state that was in?
Georgia.
A little bit more north, Kentucky.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
Yes.
With a promotion called Bluegrass.
Yes.
Some weird defenses I don't know what was going on at the time. So let's see. AJ Styles defeats Chris Sabin, defeats Frankie Kazarian, D'Lo Brown getting a title shot on pay-per-view.
Yes. They actually teamed briefly, but disbanded because of the world title.
They had a 3 falls match. AJ Styles and
D'Lo
Brown.
Somewhere CJ's head just perked up and went.
You're looking at the real deal now.
Yes.
They did. And they did I guess you can call it the 3 stages of hell, kind of. First fall normal match, second fall submission match. D'Lo Brown made AJ Styles tap out. Did not know D'Lo Brown could put on a submission.
I think he was a Cloverleaf guy.
Well, that's fair. And then the third fall, a ladder match. You know how that ends.
That's a standard 3 stages of hell match.
Yep. And then he defeats D'Lo Brown again 2 weeks later. The next week beats Low Key. He apparently defended against Shark Boy at a random show in Indiana. Okay.
By the way, he and Low Key, between both TNA and Ring of Honor, those two fought a lot.
Yeah.
Shame that Low Key's apparently a douche.
I've heard. You can Yes.
And I wonder if he's still dressing up like Agent 47.
Yes, probably.
How do you wrestle in that? God damn.
NWA title. Okay, so he loses the title to Jeff Jarrett October 22nd, 2003.
That'd be a theme.
Yes. Jeff Jarrett again, the champion, beats AJ again. We're kind of just like, I'm just going to say like this stuff is sort of just happening. NWA tag team. What? Oh man, there's a lot of weird shit in TNA, man. Some of his matches with Abyss very good too. Now that I see that name pop up,
Abyss was a very underrated big man for a minute there. And then Hulk Hogan showed up.
Well, for a minute, I think like he was on his way to WWE to face the Undertaker, and he backed out. Back in the day, once upon a time. Yeah. Once upon a time, but oh well, we never got the Undertaker and Sting either. He works
backstage.
I know, go figure. Yeah, we never got Undertaker Sting. We never got Undertaker Abyss. Those two were the same.
Yes.
No offense, Abyss was awesome. Yes, and I'm suddenly reminded that I have a match I haven't seen in a while, a King of the Mountain match.
Oh
with
God.
with rules where I don't have enough time in my day
No.
to explain.
No.
There was a
Why the fucker?
pinfall, and then there was a penalty box, and then you had to carry the belt and hang it. Very fucking
Not take it
weird.
down. Hang it.
You want to talk about the reverse battle royals they used to do?
God damn.
Remember
King of
that?
that match was just like, and
It's
eventually it
a
got its own title.
listen. No, I'm not here to talk about any of that TNA stuff because
Good.
I was long out on that.
Good.
And no, and like supposedly Impact is good now, but I just don't. I don't even know what channel it's on. I don't know where to watch.
From what I've
Whatever.
seen, it's perfectly acceptable.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. Like,
So we
like you're not
kept
wasting your time watching it.
right. So now I'll just say I started watching. So I that whole 2002, 2003 shit. I'm kind of scrolling. I'm not familiar with it because I didn't really start watching TNA till 2004 because they were on Fox Sports Net, which was on. I had it at the time, so I remember coming across it and being like, "Oh, this is interesting." Back in the day, where hey, remember when a Canadian destroyer was like, "Holy shit, I've never seen this before,"
Yep.
and now Bad
How
Bunny's out
even
here
Bad
throwing it.
Bunny does it.
Exactly. But and he does it well. So
Actually, I think it's his finish. It's isn't his finisher.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He won that match in Puerto
right.
Rico with it.
Yeah, he
Which,
did.
god damn, what a match.
We'll talk if you want our thoughts. Go to the YouTube page because I think we'll be a video up about it.
Yes.
Um,
So
but yeah, we're getting into this Fox Sports Net era where like the TV show is starting. The weekly actual TV, not just pay-per-view. Which again, it's fucking wild that the pay-per-view only concept actually lasted for 2 years before they got real TV.
Yep.
So credit to whoever kept that shit going because they literally did well over 100 of those weekly pay-per-views over 2+ years. And then finally they kind of steered it in the right direction and they kind of got rid of the weekly pay-per-views, went to the monthly, they could focus on TV. The TV deal kind of sucked, but listen, it is what it is. Because I remember Fox Sports Net, they like made it be like an actual sport where like they would have a time limit for each match and they'd have the little score bug on the screen for it.
Yep.
Like if you go back and watch some of those old matches, I'm sure they're there.
Yep.
But so we're kind of going through that. And AJ Styles, he's kind of just kicking around the X division at this point. I think
I remember he fought Jeff Hardy in Jeff Hardy's first TNA match.
yes.
Like he was a
Yes.
surprise opponent, and I think the match like ended in some no contest. Somebody ran in.
Now, why? Because I mean, I don't want to say why, but when Jeff Hardy first came to TNA, was he fired or did he leave? Was there a
Fired.
substance? Was there a substance thing?
Fired. That was after the that was after he was he should have made himself famous.
Oh, climb the ladder, kid.
Yep.
Make yourself famous.
At
Oh
at the
man.
time, myself and a lot of people thought they should have just said fuck it, let Jeff win.
Mm-hmm.
Hindsight,
Wouldn't have been the smartest. No, when Jeff, we're getting off, but when Jeff won the title the first time in WWE, it was perfect timing.
Oh, that was the biggest mark-out moment of my wrestling life. Anyway, so he fought him in AJ Styles and as a surprise debut.
Yeah.
Oh, he was feuding with Kid Cash.
Oh man.
In Dallas.
Some of the
amazing how long Kid Cash was able to get by.
It's amazing how long you're saying Dallas, who you may know as Lance Archer today.
Yep.
Which wild how it's wild to think that that guy's been around over 20 years.
Because he was also Lance Hoyt for a while.
Yep. Yeah. Dallas. The fucking name Dallas. I don't want to jump ahead just yet because we can get to a lot of the names in wrestling that TNA's kind of fumbled with, but I feel like that's a whole other topic. Yeah, that's a whole other that could be a whole other podcast. But not to say they kind of fumbled with him, because I thought they did a decent enough job, but to see the character he is now and what it was then, it was just, oh, this is just tall dude in pants. Okay. But anyway, so it's, I think, like around this time they're getting more exposure, and AJ Styles, even though he's not really in the world title picture, he's still like one of the main guys. And like, you just like looking at some of these pay-per-view matches, like a 30-minute X Division title Iron Man match against Christopher Daniels. That was on pay-per-view.
That was a dope match.
That, go out of your way to watch that. Just all the Ultimate X matches, and then it kind of culminates with that three-way.
If you are going to watch one NWA, TNA, Impact, whatever match, go to Unbreakable. 2005, I believe, this year. This is for the audience because Mike knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe versus Christopher Daniels.
Yep.
Pretty much the greatest match in TNA history.
Yep.
There's one other match that might stand up there, but that's a tag team cage match that's for another time.
Yes.
That one was Triple X and Homicide and
with the walk across the cage spot. Yeah.
That's the only match that might compare. The only other match that might compare to those two is the second AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels match.
Was that an Ultimate X?
No, the first one was Ultimate X. The second one was just because the first one was Ultimate X for the X Division title. The second one was it was just a triple threat match for the heavyweight title, and AJ Styles won both of them.
All right, that's fair. Yeah. So AJ Styles.
I want to say he pinned Joe in both of them too.
Yeah. Unbreakable 2005. No, it was just a regular three-way. 22 minutes 50 seconds. AJ Styles defeats Daniels and Samoa Joe. Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, I think both of them were actually just standard matches.
And then because there's another Iron Man match. Damn, AJ and Christopher. Oh, shocker. 1-0 score in 30 minutes.
I've heard that before.
Interesting.
Yep. I remember him feuding with Petey Williams again, back when the Canadian Destroyer was the craziest move in wrestling.
Petey Williams is wild because he's just forever a part of wrestling history. You know why?
Just his reaction during the entire Scott Steiner rant. Just look at Petey Williams, just like, like legitimately confused. This was a lot. This was a lot of. AJ Styles. Like, I feel like 2000. Like, it just. I feel like anytime you needed a feud, like AJ was like the go-to guy. He was almost like he feels like, all right, like if you can go out and have a good match with him. Is today.
Yes, exactly. Like, he's not always the champ. He's not always in the main event, but he was there. He was like their top guy.
He was the reliable hand.
And even in that era where 2006 on, when you have like Jeff Hardy and Kurt Angle and all these guys coming in, AJ was still, Christian. How can I forget Christian Cage? But AJ Styles was still like at the top. So like this guy basically, this guy from the start, really, all the way through.
Wasn't there a stable of AJ Styles, Christian Cage, and Tyson Tomko?
Was he a part of that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That happened around. He fought him. I'm trying to remember where that happened. Oh, I like how 2007 to 2009 is labeled various alliances.
Yeah, right.
Styles aligned with Christian Cage for Lockdown, teaming with Team Cage. Later, the Christian Coalition.
Oh man,
that's what it was.
It was
Styles, Tomko, and Christian Cage.
I'll tell you, I'm just seeing a lot of shit about the Legends title,
That's how
and
he became the first Grand Slam champion.
like the fucking like we hit a point with TNA where we're like, what the fuck are we doing?
We're just making up titles as
You
we
have
go.
all these dudes down here. You have
Hey, Tony Khan. Look at this shit with all these random titles. Do you see how that turned out?
Look what you're doing. Stop it.
Look what you're fucking doing.
Like, I don't know. I just, yeah, that's that again. That's another topic for another day. But
dude probably was doing lines off of the international championship before fucking
he just does.
Orange Cassidy got it.
He just does them off the old All Atlantic title now that they took away.
We're never going to be the official podcast of AEW. Anyway,
we're not. Listen, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Anyway,
listen, I like AEW a lot. They do some weird things that make me go, huh. And then, yeah.
And we might have some thoughts on that on YouTube.
Check out YouTube.
Yep.
But I mean, not again. I just think like I want to say like AJ. Like I guess I want to creep into kind of where he was kind of on the way out, because he's sort of like again he's the top guy there. You know, again, not in every main event, not the champ all the time. You know, he was winning stuff, but it gets to a point where it's just.
Well, he won the X Division title, I think, like 6 times.
A lot.
I think he was a 4-time world champion.
World champ. Yep. NWA
tag team titles,
and
which yes, he actually did win the titles with Christopher Daniels at some point.
Yeah.
And Tyson Tomko.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know.
And he accidentally married Karen Angle.
Oh, go on. I don't remember this. Accidentally?
Kurt Angle and at the time Karen Angle. Which is odd that I bring it up because Karen Jarrett showed up on TNA on AEW earlier tonight. Yeah, exactly.
We're taping this on a Wednesday, so there you
go. It's some fracas broke out where they were renewing their vows on TV, and somehow AJ ends up in Angle's place, and the priest is still confused and just declares them husband and wife or whatever.
That's how that works.
It's as fucking stupid as it sounds.
Fair. All right.
Yeah. And what the whose music is that? Whose music is that? My God. My God.
Wait, did we wait, did we call
That's gotta be Greg.
Did we call him? No, we called Anthony a cunt.
Are we recording? Yes. I heard that there's recording in progress.
Recording in progress.
Sorry, I'm a little late, boys. I was tending to some things during the day, and then I got into a poker tournament a little later than I should have, and I guess it went a little long. But I figured you guys might still be on. I jump in, see if you guys are here. Obviously, I don't have my mic hooked up or nothing right now, but just wanted to stop in and say, hey, how's it going?
You're doing the Andy prison phone call audio quality?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
It sounds a little better than that.
It does. No offense to Andy. He's literally got a full studio worth of equipment, but that one night was hysterical.
Yeah.
Yes. What's up, CJ?
Not much, guys. How you guys doing?
Joining us, as always.
Always.
It's CJ.
That's me. Don't tell me we're just in the intro stage.
No.
We're 40. We're like 40 minutes in. We're rambling.
What's up, everybody? I got to say my little thing, and then there you go. I'm good. Yeah. What's up, everybody? It's CJ. How you doing? You know, Craig Francis. Yada yada yada. Skylar Strange is here. Or no, I'm sorry, Skylar's here.
Oh my God.
And
he said it.
Now I just got banned from TV. Vince is taking me off now because I fucked up and said
Skylar's buddy, we're gonna send you to a local medical facility if you don't stop it.
Damn it! I thought you were gonna say you're gonna send me back to OVW, but all right.
I'll tell you where I'm not sending you, the hospital.
Anyway, you're doing your intro. I pause you. I do my Paul Heyman intro that you missed earlier.
Oh yeah. But yeah, we've literally been like, we're obviously talking about AJ Styles, and I'll call Anthony a cunt again. It's your favorite wrestler, and
what a cunt.
Yep.
Yeah. And we've also been talking about some of the stuff going on in NWA TNA in general at that point. Up to
Just
that
how
point.
it was more so trying to just speed up so we're not talking about TNA for fucking 3 hours, even though he was in TNA for like a decade. But like the different shit we're stumbling upon is just like, oh yeah, the TNA Legends title, the all this bullshit,
the Christian Coalition.
Yeah, and we're up to like I was gonna wrap it up because we were gonna go into the Claire Lynch storyline a bit and kind of get the TNA stuff wrapped up, so we can move on to what's better things that AJ did.
Yes,
I guess
I'd say so.
the last decade better than the first.
I don't know too much about the TNA days. You guys know I didn't really follow or watch TNA too much, but
I mean,
I obviously knew who AJ Styles was, and like any wrestling fan, like you're gonna know the top guys in almost any promotion when you're when you're really a fan or whatever and stuff. And so I knew who AJ was. I've seen videos, I've seen clips. Obviously, the little bit of TNA I did watch, I always enjoyed seeing him, but I never really knew what was going on with him until he got to New Japan, and then.
I said
and
this.
He felt a little more on my radar. Not as much as Skylar's, I'm sure, but
I said this when we started. I said that I feel like AJ Styles broke in at the perfect time because if he came around like 5 years earlier, I don't really think like his style of wrestling was really translating into like a main event stage yet. But if he came in like 5 or so years later, I think his style could have been like other people would have like passed him by.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about that, like the era where he was like the top guy was when you first saw Petey Williams do the Canadian Destroyer and you were like, oh my fucking God, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And now
everybody does it.
And now Bad
and
Bunny
now Ricky
does it.
Martel does it.
Everybody does it.
Yeah.
Everybody does it now.
It's not even a finisher.
And somehow Bad Bunny does the
just,
best one.
Bad Bunny had a good one. That's for sure. The Puerto Rican Destroyer.
Right. There was something here I wanted to mention.
There's jokes in there, but I won't say them.
Yes, there are jokes in there.
I'm Puerto Rican. You can't say these things. And now I just offended everybody because nobody believes me.
By the way, before we jump ahead to Claire Lynch and all that, I also just want to mention how he was briefly the new Nature Boy.
Oh yeah. They tried with that.
Yeah, they put Ric Flair with him. They were trying to.
They didn't have to. It was like weird. Like AJ Styles is already he's literally been your main event guy for nearly a decade at that point.
It did lead to Fortune, which I feel we should at least touch upon. And
there were so many. Like, I know factions can be a good thing. It was not a good thing in TNA at this point.
Well, that's because Hulk Hogan was running the company.
That's fair.
He caught lightning in a bottle in the 90s. It's over, brother. It's over.
I will never retire.
Slurms McKenzie.
By the way,
Slurms McKenzie, big match coming up on June the 9th.
It's coming. If only episode 69 was coming out that week, it would really be the greatest week of all time.
Yeah. Well,
part of the reason I wanted to bring up the him being the new Nature Boy was I distinctly remember, because it was after Ric Flair was supposed to be retired by Shawn Michaels. I'm sorry, I love you. Did you forget Ric Flair?
I didn't forget.
I
remember.
I was very upset when Ric Flair started wrestling again.
Anyway, I didn't forget when Ric Flair had his last match fucking last year.
Yes. I mean, that was a little different. I was willing to let that slide a little more than the TNA run, but I was pretty upset about the TNA run, considering that he literally had his last match with Shawn, who was obviously, who you guys know, my favorite. So for him to come back to the ring and start wrestling again,
especially after that match.
It was amazing. Yeah, one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not going to have a better send off.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
but like the last match that he just did, I can kind of let that slide a little more because it's just like, all right, dude, like you've been out of it for a while. You just want to have like one more big pop and then go home, and I get it, and that's cool. But like, don't run like, for 2 years in a different company after you've had your retirement match in the WWE. That just doesn't sit
fair.
with me.
Anyway, I just
That's
wanted to
fair.
say I distinctly remembered a match that was AJ Styles and Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan and Abyss.
Oh my God. I feel like Hulk Hogan could like barely walk at that point. Like his back, I think like his back was in like such miserable shape, and
It
that was
wasn't what it is
year.
now, because now if he even had like thought about doing a leg drop, he would like
Just
vertebrae
crumble.
would pop out.
Exactly.
So,
But
To be fair, I mean, he hit that leg
noted
drop
racist Hulk Hogan.
a million times over his life. That does a number on your back for sure. That's going to hurt your spine. That's going to compress you. I'm sure he's like 3 or 4 inches shorter than he was back in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know if you heard, but doctors are telling Randy Orton not to wrestle anymore.
Yeah,
I did hear that, which is very disappointing.
Probably had something to do with the RKO, unfortunately.
Yeah, the RKO is a rough finish. I think Randy's even said that before, that he's just like, I wish I could have picked a different finish. But
sorry, Randy, you made that
one's pretty rough.
You made that one work a little too well.
Yeah, right.
It's same thing with Jeff Hardy. Like, I feel for Jeff Hardy having to hit, 100,000 swantons over the years.
Well, I remember his first AEW match, and I was like, "Huh, he's just landing flat on the dudes." And then it's like,
he's like, giving him the whole sack of potatoes on that move now. I'll tell you that,
because he's like, I can't. He's like, oh no, he's like, I can't land this anymore. Sorry.
Well, I remember they were talking about towards the end of his last WWE run, that like he was only going to do the swanton like on TV.
That's fair.
How shows he would just use the twist of fate or whatever.
That's fair, and I don't see a reason why anybody would object to that. Like, I think save your body. You're 40 years old. I get it.
Yeah.
So, but no, he's crazy.
Yeah. But anyway,
and also I just want to point out briefly somewhere in here that AJ Styles, a lot of his early world title runs were actually kind of short. I remember that he had the record at one point at 211 days.
Which is wild considering.
Who did he lose it to?
Samoa Joe.
Nope.
Hulk Hogan. Kevin Nash.
You're not far off in those days. Oh, RVD.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he was there too. Remember?
They were just
wild. When he was bringing the Playboy bunnies out with him and everything? No,
this was pre-porn star days. And also, speaking of that record, to circle back around to the point that CJ made, he was talking about how like even if you didn't watch the promotion, you knew about the top guys.
Yeah.
These days, I don't watch too much Impact, even though we've talked about how apparently it's pretty good, and I have watched some. Josh Alexander has it.
Josh Alexander's good. Again, a guy I'm not super familiar with, but like the little bit that I've seen from him, he's a great mat wrestler, obviously, and he does a great job of turning that into the professional kind of style.
And he somehow makes the headgear work.
I think the headgear is awesome. I think it's a cool gimmick because, like, when's the last time we've seen that? Steiner Brothers.
Yeah. And he did it at first just because he had cauliflower ear, but then he was just like, no, this actually, I'm a wrestler.
No, and that's what I like about it. It's like, it's a real gimmick. Like, he's a real wrestler. He wrestles like a real wrestler. He gets in there and he works like Kurt Angle in a way. He's just doing like shoot style wrestling, and doesn't he use the ankle lock? Isn't that like his finish too?
I think he uses the ankle lock and he has the C4, which is kind of like a J driller.
Yeah, but his submission finish, I think, is an ankle lock, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure. Right?
Just wait till his perk angle days kick in, then he'll be doing fucking.
I mean, he's already an Impact, so
moonsaults off of cages.
Unfortunately, he was in the middle of a record-setting world title run, and he had to vacate the title because of, I'm pretty sure, his neck. So you might not be far off.
Let's hope not, because
the Kurt Angle,
I'm not a fan of guys getting addicted to drugs. I think it's a shitty way to live your life, and I'm not, faulting people who turn, especially when it comes to pharmaceuticals like that, because it's so dangerous and slippy when it comes to those pills. That's why, like, even throughout my life, whenever I was prescribed painkillers, I used them very cautiously.
I,
There was only one time in my life that I will say that I straight up abused them. And that was like, I was going out one night, I had 2 Percocets left, and we were going out. It was like Halloween weekend, and I was like, fuck it, I'm taking both of these and I'm drinking tonight, and we're gonna see what happens. But other than that, I was always very careful. I didn't like I don't like when I had shoulder surgery, they gave me oxys. I didn't even want to take them. I was taking Advil most of the day or Motrin throughout most of the day. And the only time I took the oxy was like at night when I was trying to go to sleep.
Yeah.
my dad just had a quadruple bypass, and he won't take any of that shit.
That's crazy too, because that's a
Exactly.
lot.
Yeah, and he just got the stitches out today, and he still won't do it.
I get it.
Pod
I
Dukes
mean,
is tough.
I just get nauseous, so I'm like, all right, Tylenol it is.
I just like weed,
I mean,
That does
that's
help.
always nice too, but
and it kind of helps with the pain stuff. So
it helps. But those painkillers, man, those are some
yeah,
serious shits, and they're highly,
trust me,
highly addictive.
Well,
my
that's
life
the
is
point. You
my
watch
life has been affected by them without actually having taken them. You know that.
Yeah, and
If you're listening, if you know, you know.
if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And I've had
yeah.
people in my life, same thing. That I've had people that I've known that kind of fell into that, succumbed to it a little bit, and
Mhm.
never anybody like super close. Like I've never had like a close friend die of an overdose or anything like that. But I've known plenty of people that I went to high school with. You hear the stories,
Mhm.
and there was one person that I knew personally who did die of an overdose, and I went to her funeral, and it just sucks because it's, especially our age, and this was years ago, so like
Mhm.
we were all so young and everything else. It's just a scary thing to get into, man. Like I don't know how I know how we started talking about Perk Angle, but like the fact that we just like went off on this like serious subject here.
I know.
Well,
Yeah, watch.
we didn't do much ranting to start the episode, so we're just
Yeah, we get out of the way now. Watch the show Dope Sick on Hulu about the Sackler family, and that's all you need to know about
Oh God, that's a
the
thing.
yeah, it's very
Who's that
well. It's
about?
The Sackler
it
family.
was actually it's sorry, it's not a documentary, it's just a series. But it shows like how
I might
you
need
know
to see that.
how Big Pharma pretty much marketed this and manipulated everything, and that you watch the show and get it's a true story, but
The
you just watch
pharmaceutical companies.
yeah,
It's
you just watch how they were pretty much pushing people to get addicted to these to sell more pills.
Every time I
Yep.
see fentanyl even mentioned, I want to punch someone.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, I think I was like maybe, I don't know, 20 years old. And, I was working a job where I was cleaning offices. We did a lot of doctors' offices and stuff. And I think like that, just doing that kind of like really put it in my head where I was just like, man, these guys really try to push whatever they can, because like you look around the doctor's office, you see calendars from, pharmaceutical companies. You got little banners and little sample packs of like every other little medicine and stuff like that. And that these pharmaceutical companies are giving them all this free shit, pens, clipboards,
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm sure there's money involved too.
Oh,
And
yeah.
just like when I started working that and I started seeing like how much drugs are actually pushed in our society, I think like that kind of, I don't know if it scared me or anything else, because I was already kind of just like I don't really fuck around with pills. I think it just kind of like solidified my thoughts on the whole thing, and I just think that the whole medical profession is pretty fucked at this point.
Yeah. To see
I
that stuff
mean, like
getting
hospitals are
pushed.
charging you like $1,000 for a Band-Aid. You know what I mean? Like, and that's on the hospitals. And the
Right.
reason why, people want to talk about like socialized insurance and stuff like that. How about instead of worrying about socialized insurance, why don't we like crack down on these like medical facilities who are just charging these outrageous prices
Local,
for every little thing under the sun?
Yeah. These
local.
damn local medical facilities and
Yep,
their prices. It's sick.
it is. It really is. And I mean, like, I know doctors got to get paid. They go to school for a long time. They cost a lot of money.
Mm.
But like, when you look at your bill, man, you just see everything is just over the top.
Yep.
I
And
my
you have to
entire
be
family's in the healthcare industry, and they
yep.
would all agree with you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like $20 for like an aspirin. Meanwhile,
Yep.
you can buy like 2 bottles of aspirin for $20.
Yep. Yep. No, it's a vicious cycle that you can say, oh, it starts with the cost of medical school, and then doctors need that money back, and then it gets to just everything trickles down and all around pretty much.
Yeah, well,
It's all
I don't know.
fucked.
Maybe it's time as a society that we start looking into shit like that. And it's not even just the medical field, man. Like it's everything. Like, don't even get me started. Everything I look at
All right,
now, I'm just like,
welcome to the
welcome to the Not Wrestling podcast,
the
where we talk about life issues.
we're welcome to how to fix the country with
How to Fix the Country by CJ Dorn.
When did this become the paperweight broadcast?
It's when I showed up. I don't
Where's
mean to
Hood?
steal the show.
Where's Hood? Let's just go into Hood and hollering.
Yeah, right. We'll just transition into each one.
Let's just have all three shows going on at the same time.
I'll hit up Hooten right now. I'm sure he'll sign on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
Anyway,
so AJ Styles is in a
AJ
storyline with Clara Lynch.
We're talking about AJ Styles? My bad.
So AJ Styles.
Let me go back to my notes.
So the Bone Zone match. Oh, we'll get to that later.
Are we even going to get to that this week?
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, no. Well, like let's wrap up his TNA shit because is he the champ when he's allegedly having an affair with this Claire Lynch lady?
No, but he would become champ.
No, it was after
towards the end of that angle.
You'll need to continue.
God damn.
Shut up, Siri.
I have Siri looking up fucking Claire Lynch now. Nobody wants to Google that. Come on.
No. Final. I'm looking up his
Siri,
final
find
storylines.
I think the problem with a lot of these storylines is like a lot, and like I'll even kind of go back and say that like I never thought, like when they were doing the whole like Lita, Kane, and like Snitsky whole pregnancy storyline thing, I never thought Lita was like that good at acting. So it always kind of came across.
I love Lita, and she was never a good actress.
No, but so like,
actor.
and anytime she had to do any of that, like any kind of like acting stuff, I like listen. It's a wrestling show. You're not taking it serious, like it's a movie. But I was always like, man, if it was just a little bit better acting. And I feel like that AJ Claire Lynch stuff kind of fell into that category where like the woman they got to try and be this like dramatic like actress character it just kind of fell flat. And I think that's kind of granted the whole storyline as a whole is probably silly. Like I don't remember it like watching it. I only remember like reading up on it, and it was probably Twitter was a thing at that point, so I'm sure I saw it there.
The too long didn't read version was more or less that they thought they thought that Dixie and Styles were having an affair, and it turns out that they were trying to help Claire Lynch, who was allegedly pregnant, overcome a drug issue. And at some point, the actress playing her got so many threats from fans and stuff that she quit the role.
Dude, wrestling fans are wild.
Yes,
like,
they are.
Bro, what?
Yeah. That's crazy.
God damn it, wrong mouse.
Like that shit, like that shit's crazy to me. Like, could you imagine?
So this angle was actually
turn your goddamn cereal.
It's funny because this angle is actually
I
when
never
he
even
started.
say Siri when this shit looks it up.
This is when he started having the look that he has now.
Oh, like the soccer mom hair, dark looking.
The hair, the beard, the attire. Apparently, this is when he started doing the calf killer.
Yeah, again, smart because the styles clashes, and I know he does it, but to have different moves is smart.
Yeah, it took me a minute for the elbow to grow on me, but it has.
Was that a WWE rename? Was it originally called Calf Killer? Because I'm pretty sure WWE calls it Calf Crusher, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It was the Calf Killer.
You can't have kill on TV, pal.
I don't think the
sponsors.
I don't think the few times that in the company Daniel Bryan
cattle mutilation.
I don't think they ever referred to it as cattle mutilation.
No. And I never expected them to. It was funny because like every time I saw Daniel Bryan whip out that move, I was just like, they're not going to say the name of this one.
Oh, hey,
has he done it in AEW?
Yeah, and they definitely call it in AEW. Excalibur calls like every move under the sun, so he definitely calls that.
Well, Excalibur knows his shit. So.
Yeah,
he does.
You guys are a pretty cool tag team, Hanson and Rowe. What's your name? Nope, not here, pal.
Not here, pal.
Nope.
We're gonna go
Can't
complete
can't beat the
opposite.
war or anything.
So yeah, also around this time, Aces and Eights were trying to recruit him. He refused.
Jesus, see what I mean? Too many
He's the
fucking
lone
factions
wolf.
going on.
Dude, Aces and Eights, that was like a whole fever dream.
I think it was a good storyline that went on for too long, I think. And then it just got like
I thought it was really good through the reveal of Bully Ray being the leader. And then for some reason after that it just went downhill.
I just saw a clip of like when the Dudleys were separated, but then Devon came for a save, but then now they're back together is a whole thing. Again, Fever Dream sums it up.
Yes. I'm trying to see here.
When exactly, what was his like last TNA match?
That's what I'm looking up right now.
I know.
Real quick while he's looking it up, speaking of the Dudleys, I've been showing Jessie last time she came out to visit some old ECW stuff.
Promos.
Wow, I mean, and granted, like
I'm looking at a mom who taught her daughter how to suck dick.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Dudleys were definitely a much different team back then.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
In ECW?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, were they ever!
And big shout out to Joel Gertner,
boy,
by
were
the
they
way.
ever!
Just big shout out to Joel Gertner as well, by the way, because Joel Gertner's the fucking best.
How's his neck doing?
Well. That dude has the best innuendos and fucking lines. Like, it's hilarious. Every time he's on screen, I'm just like, yes.
So I'll say, according to this, December 5th. Yeah, December 5th,
Magnus.
2013. Magnus.
That's my brother's birthday.
AJ Styles, or Nick Aldis, if you will.
Nick Aldis, this thing. What was his name back then?
Mickey James.
It was Magnum.
Magnus.
Wasn't his name Magnum? Magnus.
That's what it was.
Yep.
Oh, whoops. Dropped my Magnum condom for my monster dog.
That's one of my favorite episodes. The dentist system is like one of the best episodes of all time. I'm demonstrating value. Got a huge dong.
Well, first off, with God, all things are possible. So write that down. Yeah, last match was Magnus. They basically couldn't come to an agreement. He went and did some stuff in Mexico.
I'm gonna say this, that as we get past the TNA era, for all the good he did there, it's incredible that him leaving there and he got like more famous, leaving what was considered like the second biggest company to go do I mean, at this point, he's kind of doing indie stuff for a few months, before anything happens with like Ring of Honor and Japan.
I think there's a combination of reasons for that.
Yeah.
One, obviously AJ Styles being a free agent was just huge news. So people were just going to follow along anyway and see where he was going, what he was doing.
Yeah.
And then
he
obviously
was there for almost 20 years.
Yeah. And then once he got to New Japan, you got to keep in mind like the timing of it. Bullet Club was the biggest thing in wrestling that was not WWE related. And that goes for any other company. Bullet Club was like the biggest thing in the world when it came to wrestling outside of WWE. And so, of course, as soon as he joined that, the whole world took notice.
Yep.
Agreed.
Especially after the exit of Prince Fergal Devitt, also known as Prince Finn Balor. He's using the Prince thing again, right?
No.
I don't know if he did a little bit.
He was for a little bit.
He's doing the whole Judgment Day thing.
When he
but I thought like when he joined them, he was doing the Prince thing.
Maybe he still sort of is, but I know like when he was in NXT again as a heel, he definitely was Prince.
Oh, the second time around?
That makes sense.
Yes. And that was his best run with the company.
And that that kind of evolved into the Judgment Day stuff.
Okay. That makes sense. So that might be why I was thinking that, because I knew he was doing it right before Judgment Day.
Right. So was just based on this, was his first match in New Japan, he won the heavyweight title and he beat Okada?
Pretty sure he beat Okada in his first match.
Yeah, because I don't see a record of him there prior. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I forgot he did some CCW and PWG for a bit too.
Yeah.
When was that? That wasn't Wrestle Kingdom, was it?
No.
It wasn't that match, was it? Because I know they
No.
wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom or actually no, I'm sorry, he wrestled Shinsuke in one of the
For the
best matches I've ever
Intercontinental,
seen.
for the
No,
Intercontinental
this
title, and it
was-
was
this was
fan
May-
voted to be the main event.
This was
Yep.
May 3rd, 2014, sorry. And that kind of started, then because he was working a lot of shit. Like you look at like just the schedule, he's in New Japan and then he's at House of Hardcore. He beat Chris Hero in at the Civic Center.
Oh, Chris Hero.
How much did he weigh
What
at that
happened to
time?
him?
Chris Hero?
He didn't stop eating.
I thought he had a thyroid thing.
Yeah.
Thyroid thing. Really? That's what we're calling it?
Look, all I'm saying is I just went back and watched the takeover from Philly with Gargano and Andrade as the main event.
Oh, I gotta rewatch that match.
Yeah, and on that card is Velveteen Dream versus Chris Hero, and I think that was exactly whenever I put in like our group text, like, man, Velveteen Dream was so good. Real shame that he had to go talk to some 15-year-olds or something. I'll say allegedly, but I feel like I've seen the screenshots, and that's
Still say allegedly anyway.
Allegedly.
Until it's been convicted, it's always alleged.
Yeah.
So
I mean, listen, Pat McAfee was getting sued by Brett Favre, and he said allegedly every time he brought it up based on the news articles. And
yeah, which is why that lawsuit's going nowhere. I guarantee that lawsuit's not going to go anywhere.
It already got dismissed. Brett Favre
It did, yeah. Okay, see, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Brett
Favre
Favre's an
probably just
idiot.
sent his penis around again, and
Brett Favre's an idiot, and Pat McAfee's about to make $125 million.
Yep.
Because Pat McAfee
former
is
Jet great Brett Favre. Real shame.
It's gonna be a real shame when Aaron Rodgers
Jets
sends a dick pic to a
covers
Jets reporter.
Madden covers.
Can I tell you how excited I am to get Jordan Love in 15 years? I can't fucking wait for Jordan Love in 15 years.
Yep.
Yes. His Styles' first match, he won the title from Okada.
Yep. And then so later in the year, he's in the G1 Climax as well.
Also, just want to point out, Styles was the 6th Gaijin to win the title, and the first American champion since Brock Lesnar in 2005.
That tracks.
I always forget Brock Lesnar.
The win also made
that
Styles
title.
the shortest champion in history.
That makes sense.
I don't see how that's relevant, but
this was such a wild time because like AJ is between New Japan and Ring of Honor in this 2014.
He was mostly only doing big events for New Japan.
Right. He was
at the time.
No, right. Well, because like it's honestly like, and I'm not like, I don't keep up with it. Is the number of Americans in New Japan, has it just dropped significantly since, I guess I'll just say like since COVID?
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it seems like a lot of them are out, whether it's Jay White or Juice Robinson, like stuff like that. Like it feels like a lot of those guys are trying to come back over here.
Well,
Jay White's not American, first of all.
Well,
Yeah, Jay White's
I'm okay.
Australian.
Sorry, I'll say not like non-Japanese.
So, one, I just think some stuff's going on with management at Bushi Road.
Okay.
2,
Is Bushi Road like Titan Towers?
Hmm?
Is Bushi Road like Titan Towers? Is that where that is? Their
they're
headquarters?
the company that holds New Japan and Stardom.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I figured. I just wanted to know.
Clarification. Yes.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? One,
Well, also, I guess I'll say since
two, I
AEW
think it's
started,
also that I don't know. I just think stateside, New Japan, their whole thing is that it's not like a weekly show.
True.
They just do the straight tours.
Yeah.
True.
Where it's like every single night for like, I mean, look at the G1 alone.
Yeah.
You're basically wrestling every single night for like 2-3 months.
Yep.
And you're doing the New Japan style.
Yep.
So I think
Which
a lot
is
of them
nuts.
there's strong style. There's, I don't know. I think that's why you're starting to see some Gaijin kind of back away. I mean, do you know who the leader of the fucking Bullet Club is now?
No. Tamatanga.
No, he's not even in Bullet Club anymore.
See? I don't know.
David Finley.
Tonga Toa.
Tonga Toa. I actually think Tonga Toa, one of them is the never open weight champion, actually.
Hmm.
Who
I
did they
couldn't tell
beat
you
for
who,
it?
but
Who did they beat for it? WWE superstar Carl Anderson.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. I found that funny that he returned to WWE while still holding that title.
Yeah. But so I just think like not that obviously like stuff like sticks out, but between New Japan and Ring of Honor and all the stuff he did from 2014 through the end of 2015, I feel like that era, I almost think he got elevated doing all that stuff just because I think like you look at the guys who were kind of bouncing around that makes up like pretty much a lot of what you saw in later NXT in those like later 2010s and then a lot of what's in AEW now. So you look at like that was like the start of like that era of guys and AJ Styles was front and center in that. So kind of how I said he broke in at the perfect time, when TNA was just kicking off. I feel like his timing for leaving TNA and doing what he did for those 2+ years, after TNA, I think the timing for that was awesome too. Because I think if he sticks around, maybe he's an Impact too long, he's forgotten. And if he leaves too soon, I don't know if there is a big enough platform for him to have a showcase like he might have in 2013 and 14, 15.
I don't know if he'd ever like be forgotten. I think as long as he stayed in Impact, he had the potential to be a top guy there, obviously.
Sure.
But I guess that also depends on how they want to book him. And if they're not going to book him like that, then I can see him easily also as well, like you said, kind of fading out. But
Right.
how many guys like in WWE have just faded out of like the main event? Like, like guys like Dolph Ziggler, who's been around forever,
Mm-hmm.
shows up and for some angles once in a while, but like when they don't have nothing for him to do, people forget that like he's one of the best wrestlers in that company, in my opinion.
Well, that's why he's JD McDonough's first feud on Raw.
Well, and I'm glad that like again he's on TV and everything else, but
Right.
but how many times in his career has he just kind of faded out and like then when he shows back up, everyone's like, oh shit, that's right, this guy's awesome. Like I forgot because he hasn't been here in forever.
The last few
And
times I've been like, oh hi, welcome back.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Before
like
that, yes, I agree with you.
That easily could have been AJ in Impact for sure. So like him going out, kind of sowing his oats, so to speak. I think that was obviously good for him. New Japan was, like I said, huge, especially considering how big the Bullet Club was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was able to just kind of like piggyback off that. Not only piggyback off of his knowing that he's a top free agent in the world at the time he was, but also just like all the things he did with that, by doing Ring of Honor, by doing New Japan, beating Okada for the title in this first match. I didn't know that was a thing, but like think how big of a moment that had to be at the time, especially, for a lot of people who do have a lot more love for New Japan than maybe you or I do, Mike. But a lot of people in the world consider that the biggest prize in wrestling, not the WWE title. A lot of people, if you ask a lot of wrestling fans, especially the diehards, they'll tell you the IWGP title is the biggest title, is the most significant title in wrestling. And I'm sure, I don't necessarily agree with that because again, WWE, that's a global company, and you obviously know that the biggest in the world. They're kind of the what you want to call it, the major leagues, so to speak. And I'm not saying New Japan's any way minor league, but at the end of the day, those are the two titles that are probably consistently called the two biggest world titles.
Yep. Well, it's like you're growing up a wrestling
Sorry,
fan.
Tony, you got a way to go.
Like,
I mean, they've only been around for a couple of years, so of course,
right.
like,
but like
you can't hold that to the same lineage. Yeah.
No, you're growing up a wrestling fan. What does everybody want to be when they grow up? WWE champion.
WWE champion. Yeah, absolutely. But that's also we're Americans.
Exactly. Right.
And that's obviously, like I said, WWE is a global company, but they are based here in America.
Right.
So us growing up with it is not at all surprising. A lot of the fans around the world probably would be the same. But like if you go to certain areas like Japan, they probably feel a lot differently. There's probably a lot of people in Japan that would much rather be in New Japan.
Well,
or just touring the country.
but also let's not forget the fact that some big names after they have already been established have gone over there. Brock Lesnar won the title. Bob Sapp won the title.
And there's a reason for that.
Process that one for a second.
Like part of that reason.
Kurt Angle won some weird variation. That's a whole fucking weird story. AJ Styles, like some of these people have gone over there after they've already been established and still have gone on to win the New Japan IWGP title.
And there's a good, there's a good reason for all of that. And it's, it's not like that's new. Like wrestlers have been going to Japan forever.
Quick side note. Go YouTube Hulk Hogan in Japan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hulk Hogan
in Japan is built different.
Yeah. He's a different wrestler. Completely different wrestler. And then all of a sudden he basically learned how to work heel, came to the States, never learned how to work babyface, but knew how to play to a crowd as a babyface. And that was it. If you watch any Hulk Hogan match, he eye gouges, he uses the ropes, he takes cheap shots. That dude is a heel. But he was over. So
you know why? Because he was a real American.
He was a real American.
Fight for the rights of every
But the point is that even back in the 70s, the 80s, wrestlers always toured Japan because it is, if America is money, yeah, for sure. But if America is the biggest country in the world when it comes to professional wrestling, Japan has to be number 2. And Mexico would probably be number 3.
Yeah.
And does that make Canada number 4?
Canada's huge for wrestling, but like they don't have their own nationwide promotion.
They don't
like that.
They just produce great wrestlers.
Exactly. Yes. Who usually come to America and work for WWE.
America, Japan, or well, not so much Mexico, but
yeah.
But like look at Japan and Mexico, for instance. If you had to consider them number 2 and 3, say like whatever order you put them in, Mexico has like 2 or 3 major promotions that run throughout the country.
AAA, CMLL. What's the third one?
Okay, so it might just be the 2.
I think those are the 2 major ones.
Japan,
New Japan. In Japan, there's New Japan. I guess technically all Japan is still around.
Yeah,
is it?
I think technically still around. I don't think it's really good. But then you have Dragon Gate. You have
yeah, there's tons of little smaller promotions.
I say that's like indies here.
You have DDT. What was that one like? Love, War and Wrestling or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
War, Wrestling and Romance. That's what it was.
But
DDT, I think DDT is the one where you would see like Kenny Omega fighting a blow up doll.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
And that's the thing. Yeah, that's the other thing about Japan. They have a lot of like sillier promotions where they do get away with a lot more of that stuff. It's almost like the anime version of wrestling.
Basically, yes.
I fuck with it though. Some of that stuff's really
it's great.
Cool.
It's entertaining.
That said, I'm surprised we haven't had a match with Ultraman in New Japan. And now I'm going to go look up and see if that was a thing.
You just got to keep me sports entertained. That's all. Yep. That's all I ask.
Yeah, I don't ask for much. Let's get to AJ Styles 2016 because it's kind of wild. So obviously it starts off Wrestle Kingdom. Shinsuke Nakamura beats AJ Styles IWGP Intercontinental title match. So he's on Wrestle Kingdom, and then 3 weeks later, well, that fell. Fucking box just crashed next to me. That's
so fun. He's dead.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. So yeah, then he fucking debuts at the goddamn Royal Rumble
at number 3.
Now
everyone knows who the fuck he is.
I think that is the big thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Because
I popped. I was watching that shit live and I was like, oh my fucking God.
Right.
Everybody did. But like that place, and granted, this is the Royal Rumble. Like Royal Rumble's a big event. A lot of people come out for the Royal Rumble, but it's not WrestleMania where people literally travel from all over the world to go to it.
Right.
So for him to get that pop for, an American audience for, I don't think he expected it. I don't think Vince expected it.
No. Nope. Well, but also this is the era where it didn't matter who you were. If you were coming into WWE, you were going to NXT. this like, I mean, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but this feels like the first time in a long time
It's the
that,
first time I can remember. Yeah.
like, in this era, that someone actually just debuts not just on the main roster, but like in the fucking Royal Rumble match. Like
Yep.
this shit just didn't happen.
Yep.
You didn't matter who you were, you went to NXT, you did your thing, and then if you were
Yep.
good enough, you get called up.
And some guys got called up quicker than others, you
Right.
know.
Well, I
But
mean,
Kevin Owens was only
Kevin
in
Owens was
NXT
called
for
up
like a
almost
month and
immediately.
change.
yeah,
Yep.
but still,
And-
even someone like him, who he probably could have debuted on the main roster just for the sake of being good enough for get popularity.
Yep. They
But
still had him start off in NXT.
exactly,
Sure.
you look at all Sami Zayn, everybody, Sami Zayn, the whole fucking Undisputed Era. Like, I
Sami
know,
Zayn, they had to make a new character for Sami Zayn because they were
Yeah.
never going to do El Generico.
Well, this is rest in peace. Well, this is true too.
Wait, he's not dead. He's at the Orphans.
No, he's just retired. He's with the
Oh,
Orphans.
sorry, thought he was
Hmm.
dead.
No,
Nah,
he's
he's
not
with the
dead.
Orphans.
He's with the Orphans. He's taking care of the Orphans.
I'm hoping Sami
Fair.
Zayn makes it out alive this week.
True. He does have to
Although
travel the world.
apparently that it's okay now.
Listen, I don't keep up with the fucking politics of this shit.
The
Listen.
only reason I know is because I was trying to figure out how the hell is he allowed to do this.
All I'm saying is that blood money talks for everybody. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway,
I still consider it a blood money show. I'm not going to change my opinion on that.
oh no
Oh,
no
yeah.
no no no! You have Oil Rumble, Blood Money in the Bank. They don't get off scot-free for that.
No, but listen. So AJ
Oil
Styles,
Rumble's a good one. I never heard that one.
That
I've
is
never
a
heard
good
of
one.
it. That was the
I've never
first
heard
one.
that. No, that's a good one though.
Because the first Saudi show was the
No, I
greatest
remember.
Oil
No,
Rumble.
I knew the show. I just never.
So we
I've never
called
heard
it the
Oil
Oil-
Rumble.
I've never
Me
heard
and
it
my
called
friends
Oil
call-
Rumble though.
Yep,
It's
me and my
very
friends
funny.
called it the Oil Rumble.
That's a good one.
But
Yep.
so he debuts at the 2016 Royal Rumble, and it kind of takes off from there. And like he faces, because then you figure in the
Y2
same.
AJ.
Oh man, they made a shirt and everything.
Yep.
But so you figure like
I
this
hope you
guy,
grabbed that shirt in that 1 week.
Yeah, right. They fucking literally broke up in a week. And then so like this guy is he in the same calendar year. I don't know how many people can say, all right, I was on Wrestle Kingdom and WrestleMania.
Not a lot.
mean,
I don't think a lot. In
no,
the same
so-
year for sure. I mean,
Right,
there
exactly.
are guys who
year,
have
how
done
many-
it for sure, but
And
No, of
not only
course.
that, but he was WWE champion by the end of it.
Yeah. Yep. That's also wild. Like I did not expect him. Like I figured, all right, cool. He's in the Rumble. You know, was he going to be the fucking, he'll have a
He'd
feud.
be like an
and then-
intercontinental US guy.
Right. So the fact, but where are we at? Where's WrestleMania?
Now he's a Grand Slam
Oh
champion.
yeah. And listen, because we were at this, Chris
I think a
Jericho
lot of-
beat
I think a lot of
AJ
that
Styles
has
at
to.
Mania.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think a
Sorry.
lot
No,
of
no.
that has to do with how he was received right off the bat. Like if he doesn't get that pop at the Rumble and the continuing ovations that he got for the his beginning of his run and all throughout it really, he still gets an ovation obviously. But without that Rumble pop, he probably doesn't win the WWE title. He probably is a mid-carder for at least a while.
Obviously, that pop meant something because he would lose to Jericho at WrestleMania, but then immediately get
his
two
steam back.
pay-per-view title matches against Roman Reigns.
We were there. We were at Mania 32, and then Raw the next night. I remember
You were there?
I was there.
I was there.
I can't do a good Minnesota accent.
I need to go find Jesse. I need to see where he is. I
But
know what he's up
Probably
to.
chasing UFOs and tornadoes right now.
Yep,
Probably.
Yep. But yeah, AJ Styles, the Raw after WrestleMania that year, AJ beats a returning Cesaro. I remember he was gone for a while. I don't know if he was hurt or something, but it was Cesaro, Chris Jericho, and Kevin Owens. And probably during the match, I was like, it'll probably be like Jericho or it'll probably, like I figured it won't be AJ Styles after losing on WrestleMania, and sure enough, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was Cesaro's return. And he came out with like the James Bond music.
Yes, yep.
With the suit, the tearaway suit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Roman beat AJ, and this was annoying Roman, where everyone, especially against AJ Styles, of course everybody was going to root for AJ Styles.
Yeah, even though they were trying to make him the heel.
Yeah, good luck.
because that's when the Usos got involved, and that's when the club started.
Yeah,
Those Usos, man, I think they got a future. I think they're pretty good.
they might.
They
They just might.
They might make it.
they might make it.
Man. Hey, I was right. That's
I guess it wasn't a bad take. It was just maybe
that's all I'll
it
say.
seems a little more obvious to us now than it did back then.
What were they, fucking 2 years champs until they lost it this past Mania?
It was
Almost.
600 something days.
Mm,
I don't think it was quite 2 years, but I think they were.
Just under, yeah.
Yeah.
fair.
Bloodline, man. That angle, that whole thing was. When's the last time we've seen something like that? The beginning of the NWO, maybe,
I say
where they just ran roughshod over everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Here we go. So fast forward. I mean, listen, AJ's kind of doing his thing. Yikes. All right. September 11th, 2016. Backlash 2016. AJ Styles defeats Dean Ambrose to win the title.
Yep.
And there you have it. Within a calendar year, he's at Wrestle Kingdom. He's at WrestleMania, WWE champion. All within 8 months.
And he cleanly defeated John Cena at SummerSlam in what was probably my match of the year that year.
Oh, that's true. Forgot all about that.
I have to go back and watch that one.
Go out if you have not seen that match. Go watch it. I
I'm
think
gonna have
it
to go
may
back
have
and
been
watch
my
it.
match of the year.
That was like I don't want to say a weird John Cena era, but it was all of a sudden it was like this year where it was like, huh, I was booing Cena all this time, but goddamn,
Well, he was putting guys over this year
that's true too.
because I think he put over. This is
That
when
was
they were
SummerSlam?
first starting. What?
That woman was at SummerSlam. That match,
John Cena and AJ Styles.
yeah,
The first
Which
one
is-
was SummerSlam.
Which is just-
2016.
yeah, yep.
I'm gonna start writing down all these matches that I want to go
Yeah.
back and watch.
Again,
Which
that might
is-
have been
yeah.
might have been my match of the year.
Which is
When
hysterical.
when was
'cause,
Andrade versus Gargano?
That was
it was
later.
takeover before Royal Rumble 18, so somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It was
All right.
takeover.
Because
It was
Andrade was in the
takeover.
Rumble the next night.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look some of these up and rewatch
Yeah.
them. I'm gonna start keeping a list.
Take over Philadelphia. I don't know.
Yeah,
that
sounds
has Adam Cole and Aleister Black too, which is very good.
That card was that was one of the best takeovers.
Bro,
yeah,
a lot of those takeovers back in the day were just so good.
Yep.
Like
They
the
really
worst match would be like a 3-star match.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was like if it was a bad takeover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, like,
Yeah. But
It
yeah,
was like a
AJ,
year or two straight where like
yeah.
every takeover was a banger.
Yeah.
and like
But yeah,
almost every match in all of them
yeah,
were a
fuck.
banger. They might
Yep.
have, like you said, they might have had like one match where it just like maybe underwhelmed, but everything else was just banger.
And
banger,
they were
banger.
smart because they were only like 5-6 matches at most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FTR versus DIY. What was that? Brooklyn 2, I
Best
think.
tech. One of the best.
One of the
I can't
best tag team
remember.
matches I've ever seen in my life.
Ever.
Me and Andy used to take I took spots from that match and said, Andy, we're going to start using these because it was one of the best one of the best tag matches I've ever seen in my life.
That's fair.
The
Yeah.
way that Cash,
he's-
Cash Wheeler, whatever you want to call him, Dash. I remember a spot. He's reaching for a tag, and Dax is reaching for him. I can't remember who he's in the ring with, but whoever, Gargano or Ciampa, they pull him away, and Cash flips into the ring, and like makes it look like, oh no, I reached too far and I fell in, and that distracted the ref, and then Dax got like some cheap heat move on him, and I was just like, that's a fucking great way to pull the ref away. Why has nobody else ever done that? That's awesome.
Mhm.
I told Andy I wanted to do that.
Okay, we'll do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Because we're always looking for ways as heels, we're always looking for ways like to distract the ref that isn't just like, hey, come here and follow me. Like you got to think of ways that like I'm gonna pull the ref away that makes sense. And like, because like if I just say, hey, come here, follow me, why is the ref gonna follow me and just let him get beat up in the corner by somebody else? And I mean, granted, we do that plenty too. But if you can think of unique ways, like the feigning the injuries, obviously we've seen that over the years from plenty of people, including like, Shawn Michaels when he wrestled The Undertaker. I just rewatched that match recently, and I was just like, oh my God, him faking the knee injury right in the beginning of the match was awesome. It's just, classic Shawn Michaels. But, you're always looking for new ways to like get different reactions from the crowd.
So they had
And
they had they had a 2 out of 3 falls at one of the takeovers after the normal match that was at Brooklyn 2. So which one are you referring to specifically?
I'm referring to the one at Brooklyn 2. Brooklyn
Okay.
2, I think, was even better than the 2 out of 3 falls, man. I mean, granted, a lot more stuff going on in the 2 out of 3 falls, but that first match was one of the best tag matches I've ever seen in my life.
Agreed.
Fair.
Just everything about it.
Let me keep going with AJ that way.
Hold on, I gotta add that to the list.
Yeah. Oh, so what you're saying is that match made the list.
You just made the list. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Can you hear the pin?
There, all right, there you go. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, listen, and I think AJ's run in WWE all this time, I mean, it's crazy to think that it's been over 7 years that he's been in WWE now. Mm-hmm. I think, like, you look back at, like, oh yeah, the Japan run and the Ring of Honor, like, that was only 3 years.
Yep.
I didn't think he was going to work another 7 years. I thought he'd be done by now. I thought he was coming in for like a good 3-4 years maybe, and then he was going to retire. So the fact that he's still even doing it, and obviously at the level he's still doing it, is just amazing.
Yep. I think he said his current contract is his last contract.
And I believe that.
I mean, that's fair.
But I also believe that, like I said, money talks, especially blood money. So.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently WWE's been built on some blood money as well. So,
mm-hmm.
I mean,
and
we'll kind of. Oh, fair.
That's kind of what I meant when I said blood money. I just didn't want to be as graphic about it, but yeah, pretty much.
You got it. It's all good. So I'll kind of fast forward AJ's second championship reign. Listen, there's no other way to say it except he hindered a certain fella.
He hindered a guy that is unhinderable. You don't hinder him. You just don't do it. The internet taught me that.
I mean, he did it, and he won the title.
Tom Papadopoulos' favorite wrestler of all time.
Mm-hmm. Jinder Mahal. And so he beat him in Manchester. So I might want to go watch that because I'm sure the crowd pop was huge because the title changed in.
Really loves Jinder?
Oh, tell me who.
My good friend Chris Lupa.
Oh,
big Jinder Mahal fan.
I heard that was his favorite. Pass it along.
Passing it all the way down.
How does he like him? I thought he always cheated.
No.
Well, that's no. That's why Roman Reigns' title reign is a joke.
Oh, right.
What a joke! I love Club. I love the Club.
God damn it! I still we gotta get him on because I just have so many questions.
Yeah, why have we not had him on?
I don't know. Because I'm just not sure if he has, like, I feel like every time, like, when it was like
he has a laptop.
I know. I'll have to text him about it.
He was watching gay porn the whole week. We were at
Oh, that's true.
What the fuck was that? Lake George or whatever we did? I don't even remember now. We were up in a cabin somewhere, and Chris just spent the whole weekend on his laptop, and so like the running joke of the house was that he was just watching gay porn the whole time.
I think he said when he was over here and we were all watching, I can't remember, it's probably some, like, one of the AEW pay-per-views. I think he'd rather watch gay porn than Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I mean, that's the movie or the show?
The movie.
So we're talking the movie. I might agree with him.
It's really bad. It's so bad.
The show's great. I love the show. Anyway, back to AJ.
Yeah. Hold on, I gotta.
He defeats the Jinder.
How long? Because how long? Like, I'm just kind of clicking around. Was his title reign a year?
His first one?
No, the one where he beat Jinder. Was he champ for just a long ass time?
It was a pretty long ass time.
I was gonna say, I think his second title reign definitely felt longer.
The first one was 140 days.
I don't remember, like, his second title reign being like this crazy long.
It was.
Well, because he lost.
Hold on. 371 days.
So he was champ for a year. Daniel Bryan beats him.
Over a year.
Daniel Bryan beats him, and then that leads into Kofi Mania, and then that leads into Brock Lesnar which leads into Drew McIntyre.
Which leads into racism. Before Drew McIntyre.
Oh, right. Yes. Because Brock beat Kofi on the Fox debut of SmackDown
in 5 seconds, and then he beat Big E years later.
Yep. Oh, yep. Well, now Xavier Woods has to win the title, and then just
that's what should happen. Xavier Woods should like win the Royal Rumble next year and just beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. That'll be the main event for next year's Mania.
And then Brock just goes, well,
time to retire.
Yeah. Well, I guess I got one more guy to beat, guys.
It's Matt Riddle.
True.
Matt Riddle still wants to retire Brock Lesnar.
I mean, I'll say good luck.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to retire Goldberg too, but that's like legit heat.
Yeah. Then I'm pretty sure Goldberg might end up in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
What?
But yeah, man. Oh, I don't even want to. I'm skipping past this because I don't want to wrap it up quickly, but I'm just sort of
wrap it up, B.
Wrap that shit up. But it's just like I feel like it's again like obviously like AJ Styles is still it just confirms everywhere he goes, like no matter what, he's always, again, he might not always be like the top guy or the world champion or whatever, but he's always showcased, he's always like near the top of the card, he's always over, and it's just a testament to and his longevity. The fact that he's been doing this now on a national stage, international stage for over 2 decades, that it's just so rare to see that. Like
almost 3 decades now, right? Didn't he spend like almost 20 years in TNA?
No, 10, 12.
12. Oh wow. All right. I thought it was more than that.
02 to like 13, so maybe like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
No, not 20. He'd still be in TNA 20 years. Damn. Because TNA is like 20 years old now, or almost 21.
See, I have no concept of time.
I don't play. Well, I literally.
I'm in space or mystery to me.
Like we said earlier, like, oh yeah, like 98. What was that? 10 years ago?
Well, that's a whole nother issue, and that's just us getting old. But
exactly,
I've just never had a good sense of time. I don't remember. I remember the events of my life. Don't ask me how old I was or what year it was that it happened, because like most of the time I just don't remember. I just remember it happened.
I remember my chronological order is totally out of whack. I remember things happening. It's just when in order did they happen?
Exactly.
Yep.
I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, listen, AJ's had like he's had his stuff with like Anderson and Gallows, not bringing back the Bullet Club, but the club or the OC, whatever version you want to call it.
Which OC is wrong, by the way. Like I know that's supposed to signify like original club or whatever, but they're not.
That's true.
Well,
I mean, there's a certain someone else, right?
Anderson is the only one.
Yeah,
true.
Well, because AJ wasn't, and Gallows wasn't.
Right. Well, there's a certain other person on the roster that can have that fight.
Exactly.
If he wants to. That's also true.
The fight for the club.
And then we're getting into like the pandemic Thunderdome stuff that I don't really need to go through, except for the Bone Zone match.
Was that the Undertaker match?
Yeah.
Undertaker's final match.
Yeah. So literally that and that fucking fever dream of John Cena, Bray Wyatt is the only thing that I think people remember from the empty arena. I guess I'll say the only empty arena Mania, because at least, the other one through their Thunderdome era, at least had people at it before they just went fully back. But
it's the Thunderdome.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but that was, I remember I fucking loved it the first, when the first time I saw it, I thought it was awesome. It was probably better than anything they would have done in a traditional one-on-one match in the ring.
100%, because there's no way Taker would have been able to do that whole thing at that point. Obviously, we saw the last few matches he was in.
Yeah.
Before that, and they were getting pretty rough to watch. So at least this like cinematic style of them doing it, they allowed Undertaker to kind of go out like looking like who we can remember him as, because if they had that match in the ring, it wouldn't have had the same result.
Right. And I remember thinking that at the time. I was like, this is fucking perfect.
Yeah. because
they were able to
it's literally,
reintroduce
this is the
Taker.
Undertaker. This is the guy that we've watched for 30 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it's supposed to end for him. He's supposed to just be a dominant dude and just kind of obviously dark and scary, and they have the whole graveyard aspect to it, and it was perfect. It really was.
Just make one random comment about the Undertaker that I found it amazing that once he started doing interviews, people were outraged that a man in his 50s from Texas would support law enforcement.
Would be a little right wing. Yeah.
Like, really?
Like, because like he wears like, what is it? I'm like forgetting
the blue
all
line
the
shirts.
Yeah. Like all that. They're like, I can't believe this. I'm like, are you
fucking
shocked? Are you shocked
really?
at this? Like,
unfortunately, we live in a time where if people just don't agree politically, they're now an enemy. So
like, he's a dude. He isn't like, he's not actually dead, and he actually,
his name's Mark.
He doesn't live in the middle of Death Valley,
right?
He actually lives in Texas.
Right, but it was hysterical to me when he was like doing all that, and people were like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, come on, come on, come on, buddy,
come on, buddy, come on, buddy.
But yeah, no, like I said, they did awesome, and like I said, he had his tag team with Omos through the Thunderdome,
won the titles together.
Yeah,
lost them to RK Bro.
Yep. RK Bro, probably one of the better things that came out of the Thunderdome.
I'll tell you,
shame they're done.
I think you guys, you guys know that, like, I've never been a huge Matt Riddle fan.
Right.
That RK Bro stuff definitely kind of turned me around a little bit more on Matt Riddle. And it's not that I don't like Matt Riddle. It's like, I like his ring work's great. I'm not a huge fan of the gimmick. That's all it is. I'm just not a huge fan of the gimmick. I think it's kind of like just lame. Like,
gimmick.
And I know that's who he is, but I think that's kind of the point. It's just like, it just feels like RVD 2.0. And I don't know, I'm just not about it. But when he was doing the stuff with Randy, it was entertained the shit out of me. I thought it was some of the best stuff that he's done since he joined the company. So
yeah. So look, and like I feel like this is like a perfect week to do this, because like he's he kind of he's doing his thing. He's been he did the Omos stuff. He's kind of been bouncing around, but again, still putting on awesome matches every night.
He's got the OC going again.
Yeah.
They added Mia Yim, which I'm glad they didn't forget about.
Yeah, no, I like that.
I didn't realize she was still under contract.
Yeah.
Or did they just bring her back?
They brought her back.
Yeah, they brought her back.
They brought her back because they were feuding with Judgment Day.
Yeah.
They had Rhea. So they needed someone to go against Rhea.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they brought back Mia Yim.
Surprised there was no interest from AEW with Keith Lee on the roster. You would think maybe.
I don't know.
Honestly, I thought there was possibility. I think she came back. That was one of Triple H's people coming back.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm sure they thought that, okay, maybe we get Keith Lee back.
Right. But I mean, I'll sort of end on this timeline with, he did his thing. He was out for a few months. He's out for about 5 months, and now he's back. And as we mentioned kind of at the top of the show, he's going to wrestle for the World Heavyweight title at the next pay-per-view, which if you're listening to this after that airs, then you obviously know if he won or lost. But as of right now, it hasn't aired. So, look, like the guy's 45. He's been doing this for over 2 decades, and he's still in a top spot at age 45. And I also mentioned earlier how it's crazy to me. And again, we said about, guys take better care of themselves now, but like Ric Flair in 93 was said, hey, we're going to move on to younger guys. So sorry, pal, you want to go back to WCW?
I mean, Ric Flair was also, in 93. Yeah.
Right. He was younger than AJ is now.
Yeah.
And they considered him old, and, with his lifestyle, I'm sure he had a few more miles on his body than
Ric
AJ
Flair definitely has a lot more miles on him than AJ does.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
I think we said
in many ways.
It was
including
all
surviving a plane crash.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the debauchery woman.
Yes.
The debauchery is really where it's at.
Yep. Yeah, the whole drugs and alcohol
the
party
divorces.
wrestle. Yeah. drugs, alcohol, party all night, wrestle hungover versus everyone just plays video games now. That's what I said earlier.
Yep.
But listen, man, AJ Styles, he's been awesome for this long. I don't know how much longer he'll do it, but I'm pretty confident that as long as he sticks around, he will be awesome. And I feel like he might be one of those guys that if he kind of loses a step or slows down, like I don't think he's going to overstay his welcome. I think if he knows he's done, then I think he'll be done. I don't see him. He doesn't seem like someone that would just kind of like linger around for too long. You know, he's
No,
got
he's got a family that he's very close to, everything else. I know like he just had another child like just a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, I'm sure he's gonna have no problem kind of being like, all right, I'm gonna get to go live my best dad life now. And
right. Like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
But hey, any last thoughts from? I feel like I've made my my point known how he's just been awesome for all these years. Any final thoughts on AJ Styles from you, Skylar?
Yeah. You know how I talk about how Chris Jericho has been able to reinvent himself over the decades with his character? I feel like AJ Styles has been able to do that with his ring work.
Right. He's not just breaking his body down, doing the same moves at 45 they did at 25.
Nope. I think he had his style in Ring of Honor and Impact and TNA, worked over in Japan. That worked. And then he was able to adjust to the WWE style perfectly fine.
Yep.
And I think he will, after he retires, he should be in the Hall of Fame like the next year.
That was going to be my question. Is he like first ballot? The second he's done, they put him in?
Yes.
I think so. He's the name alone is worth it.
Yes. I feel like is WWE sort of shifting to more of like an overall wrestling Hall of Fame? I feel like someone like the Great Muta they inducted who like was never in.
He was in WCW.
There's been a few people over the years that they've done that with.
Muta was in WCW, so you can kind of count that.
That's true.
But I think like they usually have like it's almost like a legacy kind of spot where they have, for instance, Carlos Colon, because he was a huge promoter in Puerto Rico, Carlito's father. I know he spent time in WWE, but did he have a Hall of Fame career in WWE? Probably not. But like he more so got inducted in for his work in Puerto Rico, I think. And I think like that's just kind of like if there was like a legacy wing in the WWE Hall of Fame, that's where those kind of guys would go.
That's true. I mean, even you do want to take away the 15 years prior to WWE. He's probably got a Hall of Fame caliber career anyway.
Yep.
That's and that's kind of my point is like AJ Styles, I think he's a big enough name. Obviously, he's a worldwide known name where like even if he only wrestled for 2 years in WWE, you could almost argue, hey, make sure he gets a title run and we'll put him in the Hall of Fame when he's done. Because
Rey Mysterio just got inducted and he's still active.
Yeah,
that's true.
Actually, Edge got inducted and he's still active.
That's true too.
Although at the time,
Edge came back. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Edge came back.
Yeah, but yeah, listen, AJ Styles, man, like he's awesome.
He's one of the best.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like we kind of mentioned enough standalone matches on this that if it's something you need to go back and watch, the TNA Impact stuff, I don't know if that's on YouTube or if you got to go out of your way to find it, but
the both triple threat matches are up there.
Okay, yeah, so definitely those
you have no excuse.
TNA. Definitely those from TNA, some like the New Japan stuff, him and Shinsuke Nakamura for sure.
I don't know how much of the New Japan stuff is on there.
Well, I mean, if you need
both TNA triple threat matches are on there, and that's what's important.
Yeah, those set the tone for that time, and really, I think put AJ on the map at the time, and he's been there for 2 damn decades, man, doing something right.
Good.
Let's get some butt plugs. We're gonna record a little something for YouTube after this that you can look for. So you should go subscribe to our YouTube. It's 6 Man Tag Podcast on the YouTube and Instagram at 6 Man Tag Podcast and on Twitter at 6 Man Tag. You should go follow and subscribe to all that fun stuff. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, hey, thanks. Hit subscribe there as well and follow whatever you got to do. And also when you're searching and you have to use your keyboard to type all this stuff in, whether you're on the touch screen on your phone or you're on your actual physical keyboard on a computer, whatever the fuck you do, if you type the word 6, you're dead to me. Because you know goddamn well that thank you. As Craig holds it up as it blends in with his background. There it is. The number 6. If you don't put the number 6 in there, fuck you. I'm running out of insults for all you goddamn people that are clearly typing it wrong. But it is the number 6 on all platforms. 6-Man Tech Podcast. Thanks, everybody. Let me kick it to CJ. I know you got a lot of butt plugs.
Boy, do I. And they're nicely secured. But anyway, I got one spot. It's real nice and easy, and you can follow everything I do. Besides this, because I guess I don't have this linked in with it. But all of the paperweight stuff, it's all in one spot for you. Linktree/the Paperweight Project. That has the link to our SoundCloud, to YouTube, but also to the Paperweight broadcast. That is right. I do my own podcast with my good friend John Hooten. We're actually probably changing up the format a little bit. We're going to talk about that on our next episode, which we should be recording probably tomorrow. But episodes for now. There's 9 episodes out. Number 10's coming out on Sunday. Just go to the Paperweight broadcast on YouTube or Spotify. But once again, you can find all of that at Linktree/the Paperweight Project. And that's about it. Also, I did want to say one more thing about AJ. I know I said it earlier, but I'm going to just say it again. Styles versus Shinsuke, Wrestle Kingdom. Go watch it.
That too.
Fair. Skylar, any plugs? You playing anything on Twitch or no?
I'll get back to you next week about that.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
I might have some more coming soon too if things go a certain way. But I'm working on something else now too. So I don't no announcements yet, but I will let you know.
Something to look forward to. Listen, those are all the butt plugs. We hope you enjoyed our discussion about AJ Styles. A lot of rambling, a lot of interesting. Oh, I don't remember this.
Boy, was it ever.
Sorry, I just had an update on the C Loop gay porn thing. I guess he'd rather suck Tom Brady's dick than watch gay porn.
Well, Chris, if there's another thing people know about C Loop is that he's a huge Tom Brady fan. So huge Tom Brady fan. That motherfucker calls himself a Jets fan, rooted for the Patriots over the Giants in the Super Bowl. I was like, your Jets fan has been you're no longer a Jets fan. So from then on out, C Loop is known as Patriot fan Chris. So big Tom Brady guy though. Big Tom Brady.
Oh my God, I love it. We'll have C Loop on the pod. We'll ask him about that.
Oh, I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Bart Scott.
All right.
Can't wait.
This was fun, but hey,
I'm
until
glad I
next
made
time.
it, boys.
Yeah, me too. This was
me
good
too.
and you honestly had perfect timing. We literally wrapped up the TNA stuff, and you popped up.
Because I don't know any of the TNA stuff.
Yeah, no, it worked out.
It's almost like we planned it.
I wink like shit. I don't know how people do that. Like all seductively.
Oh, I'm not good at it either. I'm surprised I just got that off as cleanly
Yeah,
as
people
I
are
did.
like I look like I had a stroke when I wink.
Me too. I'm usually like, yeah. See, because I already got that whole like lazy eye issue anyway. So I like to point out things just in case our YouTube audience haven't already fucking noticed it. I just like to make sure.
It's gonna be the first comment.
Oh yeah, his eye is fucked up.
Oh well, goddamn.
I love it. This is fun. Hey, for CJ, for Skylar, I'm Mike. Also, hey, shout out AJ Styles. If thanks for giving us an awesome podcast.
It's the AJ show. We got to do it.
Oh shit! Sorry, guys. Hey, for AJ, for CJ, for Skylar. Hey, peace, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Go fuck yourself.